What's up, y'all? It's Ice McGowan, and welcome back to another episode of Raised by Wolves. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I filmed this a couple hours after episode 6.5. Like, this is happening literally maybe 2 hours after. I had a family call. We was lit, acting a fool on FaceTime. My mom and dad was on the same call together, which is hilarious if you know anything about my family dynamic and how my mama feel about my dad. And it was fun. It was fun. It was fun for my to see my mom get on the phone and be all like, "Wait, yo, dad over here, man." That was funny. But I wanted to come right back. I wanted to drop multiple tracks, bars, like I'm Drake. I don't know if y'all gonna get three this week. You probably get three this week. Now that I'm thinking about it, and it's so funny because he got a album called Iceman. But haven't listened to it enough to have an opinion. Um, yeah. I just said is that there's a couple songs that I like so far, but I need to go back, and I haven't even made my way to the other two. Made hour of honor or something like that, and then Habibi. It's a Habibi thing. Haven't made my way to that, but I did listen to Iceman. I just want to go back and give it a couple more listens. Um, it's also funny too because been called Iceman my entire life. I can't tell somebody my name without them saying Ice Ice Baby. Um, Having a son named Icy is super dope. Um, yeah, and I wish I like Icy's in my phone as Icy Boy. Icy Boy. That's how I say his name. And I got that from Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh. A couple episodes back, maybe episode 2 or 3, I had a shirt on with a character named Maximilian Pegasus, and he would always call Yugi, the main character. He would call him Yugi boy, and I just always called Icy that Icy boy, and it just stuck. And that's what I call him. Either that or I call him Buddy, but I actually call him Buddy like Buddy McGowan, like that's his name. It's not like Buddy. You know how people like, "What's up, Buddy?" Which I hate when people call me Buddy. Like you got to be at least like 65 to call me Buddy. But like I don't call him Buddy like that because people be like, especially black people, like, bro, why you call your son Buddy, bro? Like, and I'm like, nah, that's his name. Like his name is Buddy McGowan. So if I ain't calling him Icy, I'm calling him Buddy. And his name is Isaiah, but I've never called him that. It's not even like you're in trouble. I'm calling you Isaiah. Like I just say Icy sternly. I'd be like Icy. Like that's just how I do it. I don't because I just wasn't a fan of his name. I wasn't a fan of calling him Isaiah. Whew, time I was catching up to me just late at night. I just dropped the other episode, so go watch that 6.5 if you haven't already. But I'm dropping to see the Monday or Tuesday, depending on how efficient I want to work. But I wanted his name to be Maximilian. I thought Maximilian was dope. I thought Toussaint was dope. I thought Ice was dope. Like, bro, I'm gonna just let me put all the chips in the let me put all the chips on me to be successful. Cause I think that's the biggest thing that people always think about. It's like the resume, the resume. They're not gonna choose his name on a resume. Ain't gonna be no resumes for my son. Cause one, he gonna do what the hell he wanna do, and he's gonna make it. And also, two, I'm gonna be so freaking successful. It doesn't matter. Like, so yeah, and it's dope now because it's to the point where like nobody even calls him his real name, but he did that himself. Like he introduced himself as Icy at a young age, and kudos to him for the confidence to be like, "Yo, I'm Icy. That's my name. That's what I've been called my entire life." And like exactly how things are going are how I hoped it to go. And he's at the phase now where like the Y is gone. He's just Ice. Especially people like 98% of the people in his life from a school perspective, they don't know me. So they know me as his dad, like they see me and stuff, but they don't know me enough to be like, "Oh, that's Ice Jr." or like that's I'm just Ice's dad. I'm not Ice. So like nobody really calls him Icy. He's just Ice. So it's just funny hearing everybody say like, "Oh, Ice McGowan, Ice McGowan." And it's like, wait, they not talking about me, they talk about him. But I knew that. I knew at some point he was going to become too cool to be called Icy. I thought it was going to be like a declaration that he made, but I think it just kind of happened naturally, which is cooler. I think that's cooler, but I think that that's cooler. You see what I did there? Bars, man. I should have been a rapper instead of a comedian, but all comedians got to rap at some point. What Childish Gambino say? Every black actor got to rap some. I don't know. I just know that I'm the best one. Um but I think that's dope. I think that he has found his own identity. And I think last episode I talked about like the structure of the show because I know y'all see the title and y'all like, wait, the podcast is only what t- uh 13 episodes in. Like, how you gonna end it already? And I am, as a filmmaker, as a creator, I am really big on stuff having an ending. I don't like stuff going on forever and ever and ever, and which is probably why I hate One Piece because it's 12 gazillion thousand episodes of what? Like, why are we still here? When is this going to end? I like my stuff to have an end, and I think Raised by Wolves should have an end. And this is not the end. We're not ending it no time soon. But I sat there for the past couple hours and I was just thinking of the structure and talking through it and just trying to figure it out. And I figured it out. And I think this is what it's gonna be. But like I said in the last episode, it can only go for so long, and I don't want to just be twiddling my thumbs and rambling and just like I never want the podcast to get to a point to where it's just like I'm just talking dad stuff. Like I'm just like, oh, as a dad, as a dad, as a dad. Like I don't like that. I want it to still be me, and I know you can only ask so many questions about so many things. So here is how it's gonna be. So boom, we finished chapter one. Chapter one is done. I'll give you guys a few episodes of me just talking about certain points, and then we'll go through chapter two. Chapter two will be from like 2014 to 2020. So that 6 year time span and what was transpiring and what was happening in my life as a dad, as a man, like our relationship, and then we're gonna go chapter three. And chapter three will be 2020 to 2023. And that's just such a short chapter because so much transpired in such a short period of time. Like between because quarantine happened. So that was, we'll talk about it when it happens. But like Icy and I's relationship changed drastically from 2020 to 2023. And then it'll be 2023, chapter four will be 2023 to 2026. And then I'll drop sometimes around that. That should take us somewhere around September, October-ish. So I will be on tour around that time. I'll be doing the Wild Boy tour. That's the name of my next special. For everybody, you're getting an exclusive. Wild Boy is the name of my tour, and it's gonna be the name of my special because I think that just is the best way to describe who I was and who I am still. And I think I am very impressed with myself on how I've been able to talk about my life without stepping on my jokes because everything that I talk about in Wild Boy um is stuff that I didn't touch on. I've deliberately left stories out because I talk about them in Wild Boy, but I've been able to give you guys a lot without stepping on those stories. And that's great because I think it's twofold because people who haven't watched Raised by Wolves, when they see that, they'll go back and watch, and they're like, "Whoa, he didn't talk about this at all in his stand up." And people that's been here from the beginning, appreciate y'all. Y'all get to have an experience too, but you got is another layer to it because some stuff that I'll leave out of my special, I talk about on the podcast. So then y'all watch the podcast, y'all know some of the context and some of the players and some of like the deeper roles that people play in my life. So when I talk about them, because I'm only gonna have 45 minutes to an hour to do my special. Not that I'm only gonna have, but that's the space that I wanted because I really want to tell a very clear and concise story about my journey. And it starts from like me as a kid to me now. So like you get parts of me that I don't talk about on the podcast, but then you get parts of me that I talk about on the podcast. So it's a reward for those people who rock with me, but also too, if you've never seen me before my special, you get a crash course, if you will, in the life of ice, life on ice, if you will, and I'm super excited for that. And Raised by Wolves will be ending somewhere around the time that my special comes out. So I'll be touring. I'll still be doing Raised by Wolves. I should be on the last chapter by then. And then, like, the special would probably be the penultimate, if not the last thing that you see that's in that Raised by Wolves house. Um, and then from there, I'll still keep the channel. People will go back and watch old stuff. But what will happen is, like I said in the last episode, I really want to work towards, like, by that time, that's the middle, because my son goes to school year round. So that's like the middle-ish of my son's junior year. We'll see where I'm at. Hopefully, life has me in a place where I don't have to work. If I am working, that's cool too. It's not cool, but I'm not. It's not the end of the world. But like the page, it will transition to more of Icy and I. And I want to do like a dad versus son type of thing where we just doing a bunch of challenges and we competing. And by that time, I've had more money saved so I can afford a videographer to do legit stuff. If I don't have a videographer, I at least find a good editor that can make it look like a not necessarily a vlog, because I don't want to stream it or nothing, but it'd be like challenges that him and I are doing, like punt, pass, kick or something like that, a pass, punt, kick, as they say. And or like we go to the batting cages, or him and I go skydiving, or him and I go riding roller coaster, or we go like laser tag or paintball, and like every episode be us just doing wild stuff, doing challenges, going against each other, just stuff like that. And because not only is it dope for you guys to see, and obviously dope for me to experience, but I really want to like commemorate, I guess, my last 2 years with my son before he goes to college, and just have that like visual, a video photo album, if you will, that we can just go back and play. And I think doing that amongst people, like letting the people see that, I think could be super dope. But that's always something that we can have. And no matter like how long I live, how long he lives, how long everybody, like it's something that we can both go back to. And I think there's a lot of people that's been invested in both of us, like us as a unit, us individually. And I think that would just be something cool, and just get, have cameos of different people in the family, whether it's my parents, whether it's like his friends, my friends. I think that it will just be something dope. I think it's just something dope. So I really was just sitting there like a conspiracy theorist, like, like the dude with his hair all like messed up. He's like, aliens. Like that's what I spent these past couple hours, and I just wanted to get it to y'all. I wanted to talk about it. And I just wanted to like, cause I feel like I talked about my son, and I talk about my son on here, but I don't talk I do talk about my son. I don't want to sell myself short. I do talk about him, but one of the questions that somebody said to me, which was a really good question. It's not even like I don't want to spend the whole time answering questions, but I do um want to talk about him and talk about like why he's my guy. Why he's my guy. And somebody said his interest. What is he interested in? And obviously he's interested in sports, but like who is Icy? And I'll let him tell that about himself at some point, and we'll talk about it. But I think something that he's always been interested in is like video games. Obviously he's a kid, but there was a point where he was streaming, and I'll add his stream in here. He streams now, but he wanted to stream back then. But we didn't have um all of the technology necessary to for him to stream back then, but I still wanted to support him. And I've always wanted to be his biggest supporter. And I think obviously it stems from being a good dad, but it also stems from like having a mom that really supported me in a lot of stuff that I did. And I think that yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I think that it was that I mean, I'll talk about it in a second as far as my dad and I, but I think that for me, I just wanted to anything that he wanted to do, I wanted to make sure that I supported 100%. And sports was always there. He wanted to play soccer actually before he wanted to play football. So I had him in soccer. He was playing soccer for a little while, but then like his his he, his mom, I guess, like couldn't keep up with it. But I was paying for it. I was making sure that he was getting there and stuff, but she just couldn't pay. She couldn't keep up with like him getting to practice on time. So that kind of fell through. And then his love for soccer kind of went away. If there was ever a love, but he just wasn't into it anymore. Then he got into football. But I say all that to say there was a period of time that he really was into streaming. This was like 20 2018, 2018, 2019-ish, somewhere around there. But we had one time in particular, and the video, if I could put links, I'll put the link in the the comments, and I'm actually gonna see if I can find it real quick. But he 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 didn't have we didn't have like a capture card, or we didn't have a proper way to show the game or record the game. So what I did was I I sat there with my phone and like recorded him playing, and then he was talking. Cause back then, streamers were streaming and stuff, and you had the streamers that were on video, but they had also very even to this day it's still popular, but they had streamers that you wouldn't see them at all. They would just talk. Um, so I was sitting there recording the game, and he'd be behind me playing the game, and he'd be talking about the game the whole time. And he was lit. He was lit with his friends. His friends was just like, "Yo, you gotta you got your own." Oh, here it goes right here. 8 years ago. So yeah, 2018, like I was saying. I'm a, my dad got it for me. That's one thing about kids. They gonna tell you who got them the things. And I forgot that he even put that in there, but yeah, and then he said, "The next video you can't see me this video, but the next video you're gonna see me," because I was figuring out, okay, Imma have this camera on you, my phone on the game, then I had an old iPhone that I was gonna put on him, and then I was gonna do the picture in picture in the little editing software that I had. I had it all set up for him, and, um we shot a couple things. It just but we ended up doing some other stuff. He wanted to write a script, and he wrote a script, and I was like, "All right, we're gonna shoot it." He was like, "What?" I was like, "You write a script, we gonna shoot it." And he wrote a script, and we shot it. We shot it, and we made and I put that one in there as well. We made a short film called Orange Flame. Orange Flame, that's what we did. Let me see if I can find that one. Orange Flame. Yeah, so we made a 5. No, I'm not gonna give you guys any type of uh promotion. But yeah, we made a short film called Orange Flame. This hold on, let me get to this is actually an action. You how it's really done. Purple flame, white staff of anguish. Orange flame, black machete of justice. So like please if you guys look at the choreography. And I would probably actually take an episode of just him and I just kind of break down the short film or something and kind of talk through it together. I think that'd actually be pretty cool. But I think that 942 views, that has more views than all of my Raise My Wolves episodes combined. Uh, but I say all that to say is like I've always been supportive of my son, and I hardly ever give advice, but if there is a piece of advice I give is be supportive of your kids. I'm super grateful that I had an imaginative kid, and I'm also glad that my son's identity isn't just being an athlete. And there's nothing wrong with that. No, it is something wrong with that. No, I'm gonna say that there is something wrong with that because we are multifaceted humans. That's the word, the phrase that black people spam for the past freaking 6 years. If we're not a monolith, um, and I think that we're not, and people know that we're not. But I feel like the after the shut up and dribble, um, we have made sure that the world knows that we are multifaceted, that we are creative, even if we are athletes, and even though that we exert dominance in damn near any field of sport that we choose, we also exert dominance in any field that we choose outside of sports as well. And that's something that I'll instill in my son from a very young age, which is why I made I set the bar for him in athletics, but I also set the bar for him high for him in academics too, where it's like, hey, this ain't a C household. And you better not get too many B's. I give you a B for chemistry or maybe physics or something like that. If science might not be your favorite thing, but my son actually loves science. But I think I won't be super duper 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 strict. Will I whoop you if you get an 89 instead of a 90? But it is one of those situations where it's like, hey man, you could have worked a little harder to get that 90. And 90 shouldn't have been the goal just to make an A. So I think that it's a push and pull situation where it's like I want you to be great and I push you for greatness, but I will give you grace in the greatness, as they will say. And I think it's worked out for the most part. I've taken my lumps and I've learned and I've gotten better at being figuring this out. But I've been super supportive of him, and I think that there is levels to the support though. There is levels to the support because at the same time, a lot of the support comes with money. And I can't just throw money at every new idea you have. It has to be something one that might be, something I can do that's tangible. It's like, okay, he got a script, he wanna write something. I already am a filmmaker. This is my first short film, even before I made my other two short films. This was my first one. And we made that in the day. We did a premiere that night, where we had my dad on FaceTime, my grandma and grandpa were there. Um, my sister was we came down from college. She wasn't too far. She was at GCU, and we just bought popcorn, snacks, and everything, and we watched it. And we did a Q&A after, which was super dope. But they asked him all the questions. I was in the audience. I was an audience member. But those are the things that like, hey, if you want like I want Icy to look back on his life and be like, yo, not like dope ass dad, cool, but like I want my son to say like I never thought I always thought I can do everything. There was never a doubt in my mind that I couldn't go after something. And I wanted them like if I can not to now almost quoted a man we don't mess with no more, but the the bar is a bar. You know, if I can dream it, then I can see it. If I just believe it, then I can do it. Like that's a bar. That's a bar. I mean, amongst other bars, but like that's real, and I wanted that to be his mindset. I never wanted him. I like the ceiling is the moon. Like the ceiling is the sun. Like that's what I wanted my son to think. But how can you give them that without showing it? Like I can tell you that. I could tell you that, like, oh, there's a big world out there, but there's multiple things out here, but I could show you better than I could tell you. I could take you to Japan, like, and give you that experience. We watching all this damn anime. We wearing all of these dang fashion vape and all of this other stuff and and playing all these video games and stuff, but we ain't never gonna go where a lot of this stuff is. Come on, man. Now the next thing is we want to go to Italy because he learning about the Colosseum and stuff and the gladiators and like that that Colosseum is still up, right? What? Yeah, we can go see it. Next trip is Italy. So I think I want to instill that in my child. I can't stress that enough. Like there's so much that this world has to offer. And even if you do become the greatest wide receiver to ever live, which I'll push you to get that too. While you're doing that, and when your career is over, you could go pursue other things. And we went to Japan. And when we went to Japan, he's like, "Yo, when I retire after my NFL career, I'm gonna have a house out here. I'm gonna be in Japan. This is where I'm gonna be. When I'm done being the main character, I'm gonna come out here and be a side character and be happy." And that was even dope for me to hear because it's like, okay, look at you planning something, but also too, look at you wanting to live somewhere else. Like you're not scared to be like, oh, I've got to be in another country. I don't know. Like even him talking about colleges. I wanna go to Michigan. I wanna go to Ohio State. I wanna go to Oregon. Stuff that's not close. Like, but his mind is already there, and I think that that's so dope, and it takes 2, though. It takes 2 because I could be giving him all of this, like, and he cannot be receptive to it, but he's super receptive to it, and I am so proud of my son. I'm so proud of my son. I'm so proud of Ice. Which I've never called him. I've called him Ice a couple times, but I'm proud of him, and I don't know necessarily. We're talking about his interests. So, that's what the topic was, and this is well. That was a part of the topic, but also too just like the structure, and that's gonna be the structure. That's gonna be the structure. As much as I love getting on here yapping. The yapping will come to an end, and it's no time soon. We think in September, October, November at the latest, but I want us to have fun. And, I might get on here periodically after that and have a couple talking head stuff if he does something cool that's not recorded. But I really want to have a good time with my son, and I think you guys are invested enough to want to see that. And I think that there's some other people that want to see that. And I think that like it'll be cool. It'll be cool. So, what else? What else does he like? He likes pasta, just like his dad. He's a big pasta guy. That's an interest is eating me out of house and home, which I didn't necessarily know the meaning of when I was a kid doing it to my mom and grandparents and my dad, but I definitely know the meaning of it now. And it's just like, yo, you getting bigger, which means, like when he got in the men's sizes, it was like, my prices just went up and like expeditiously. And I think that my pockets was hurting, but I'm glad that I'm in a space that I can do that. And I'm glad that like I'm able to invest in him like I want to invest in him. And I've spent a ton of money. I'm gonna continue to spend a ton of money. I just spent an egregious amount of money on something for him, and it'll be all worth it. And I think I've said this before, and I say it again. As much as I push my son, his success in sports My love for him is never contingent upon his success in sports. I want him to be great, and I know he will be great. But if something happens and he's not, I won't love him any less. I will be hurt for him if it doesn't, because I know he works so hard, but I never be there will never be any love lost. Um I think I got what else? What else? That I think that's just good. I think I'm okay with that. I'm okay with like, and it's just like, bro, you 10 episodes, 12 episodes, 13 episodes in, and you talking about shutting it down already, and it's like, like I I just did. I'm be honest with y'all. I didn't know where I wanted to go because I felt like I felt like that first. This chapter one was fire. Chapter one was fire, dog. We had girls fighting. We had child got me on child support. We had child support. We had getting left at the crib with no girl. We had no presents for Christmas, being emotional. The Roxy cameo. We had the voice recording of the conversation of me speaking this podcast into existence. We had the phone call of me even finding out about being on child support. We had so much that transpired in four. This is 4 years, 5 years, give it to 09 to 2014. So 5 years. He's 16. And with me, it's not like, oh, like you don't want to get in the sophomore slump. Is your second album gonna be good as your first album? It's not that, or better than your first album. It's not that the second album won't be better, and the third album won't be better, and the fourth album won't be better. It's just different. I mature different. I handle situations different. I think stuff that transpired in in the second chapter, and the third chapter, and the fourth chapter could have been an even crazier story, but it wasn't because I was more mature. And shit still crazy, which is why I do 2022 to 2023, because that year, those 3 years was so insane. And then these past 3 years have been wild in their own, but I think that um they needed to be separated. They needed to be separated, and we needed a little breath in between those. And who knows? I want to end it by the time the the special comes out, but maybe it won't be. Maybe the story will just be so vast and long. Whoa. Uh that it won't. And I'm not gonna force nothing. If it ends around that time, cool. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I just want to tell the story that's true to me. And the stand-up special will just complement that. And again, I'm gonna keep saying it because I'm proud of myself. Because I thought for sure that I was gonna do this podcast and it'd just be my entire stand-up set, and then I was just gonna have to cut stuff because it's jokes I had, and I didn't have to do that with anything. Like my set is still protected, and it's like this shit. I'm still working on it, but this shit is fire, man. Man, y'all just gotta know this shit fire. y'all got y'all just gotta know this shit fire because it is, and I've been working on it and I'm gonna keep working on it. And if it's fire in damn May, just imagine how crazy it's gonna be come September, October. So when I'm on tour, see me. And also too, I don't want to make it, nah, I wasn't begging. I was asking for support, and I needed y'all support. And I don't want to feel like I'm like, Preston me $1, muchacha. Like, I ain't gonna say loan me $1, man, but I, I've put a lot of work into this, and I'm gonna continue to put work into this. I just want it to be reciprocated, and it can be reciprocated on the free by listening. But if you got a coin or two to pull up on your boy and get a wild, wild story from a wild, wild boy, that'd be great. So that's all I got. We not ending no time soon, but there will be an end. Um, to answer that question that one of the homies asked me is he has multiple interests. He has video games. He loves anime. I have him read manga. every day out loud because I just want him to be a smart athlete. I don't want him to be like, game good. I score a touchdown, touchdown. What? I score touchdown, touchdown. Like I don't want him to be that. I don't want him to be the Kevin Garnett who is the NFL. You like no, you're not gonna embarrass yourself on national television. You're gonna be able to articulate your words correctly. You're gonna be able to speak. You don't even have to. You don't have to. You know, be proper or anything like that. You can have some swag to you. You can talk, but just know, like you just dip in and out of it. You can put that vernacular on the ice swag, if you will. So that's why, and they you like, oh, he was, how they be talking about Jalen Brown. It's like this dude could have been a scholar at MIT. He got accepted into all the Ivy League schools. He has a bachelor's, a master's, like all of this stuff. I think all of that stuff can be true to show that, athletes are multifaceted humans. And I think that he has that. And that's something that I instill in him. And again, it's dope that he reciprocated. So it's so many things he could have been. He could have been a streamer. He streams now. He gotten back into it, and I invested in him and got him a whole soundproof room and a nice, not this nice, but a nice mic. Um, and he's been streaming and stuff, and his personality comes out, and he knows how to edit. He likes to edit videos. He likes editing more than I like editing. That's for damn sure. Um, and it's just cool to see him grow. So that's his interest. To answer your question, um, and he loves photography. I'm not a photographer. I hate photography. Honestly, I think that like I leave it to y'all. But he has. I have a lot of photographers that are close to me that help him out. And I'm just appreciative of the village that we've built, and that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day because my village is amazing. They're amazing, and I couldn't do it without them. But that's it. That's his interest. It just isn't football. He can talk to anybody at dinner about anything. He's getting more and more into movies, which I love. Um, Anime, video games, photography, uh, manga. He reads manga for being an entrepreneur. He has his own Depop. I think it's like Franklin Saint 13 or something like that. He watched Snowfall a couple years ago, and all of a sudden he wanted to be the candy kingpin since he couldn't sell drugs. We was going to Costco buying stuff in bulk, and he was selling snacks until he got busted selling snacks. So you can't sell stuff on campus because they sell snacks. So then he was an undercover snack hustler, and that went for a while. Then he had people working for him, selling snacks for him because he couldn't reach all of the classes. So he would give some snacks to his team, I guess his street team, and they was remixing it and stuff and selling it, and he would take the profit. So I think and I had to teach him some street smarts and some business smarts through that entire process, which was really funny. But I'm glad that that's the main thing that you took from Snowfall is that you want to be your own entrepreneur, but you had enough sense to know that you wasn't gonna be selling drugs because I would kill you. Um, but you wanted the hustler spirit. So that's something else that he's into. I'll be here all day talking about my son, so I'll just end it there. But I did want to come back quickly. I wanted to come back quickly because I just felt like after that episode it wasn't enough, and I wanted to give y'all more. So this is me dropping my second tape in a 24-hour period. But yeah, we'll be back either this Sunday or maybe even before then. I might Drake y'all and give you a three-piece just because I got so much to talk about, and I want to get to that second chapter. But it's some other stuff I want to talk about before we get there. But anywho, I'm Ice McGowan, and this is Raised by Wolves.